going to do quickly is give a bit of a recap of like my thoughts on the whole thing, right? And like I said, I think it was super cool to be a part of that whole situation and to actually do it. And also, man, while y'all watching, I hit the like button. You feel me? If you ain't here right now, go ahead and smash the like button, suppress it, push it down, and let that boy turn different colors in the whole vibe. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't here, go ahead and hit that boy. Right? I don't know why I gotta say that. You feel me? But you know what I mean. I'm gonna have to go ahead and say that. So back to what I was saying. So what I realized in both of those situations and talking about kind of the brand and it's very different temperament in both of those rooms, right? The ticket TV thing was really like obviously it's hella heated, folks getting emotional, they woo, woo, woo. They what is this? And the FYF sports debate was kind of dope because it was like more so like fact finder, you know what I mean? Like, let's get this information type of vibe. Like, I want to share this with y'all. Make sure y'all hit the like button as you come in. And so it was dope. But then it was also cool to hear like Ball Facts answer some of these questions, DKM answer some of these questions, and all of that stuff. Because what it said to me, that debate was not a debate at all. Let's talk about it, huh? So what it was interesting to me is to hear everybody. What's up, Marcus Gibson? What it was interesting to me was to hear everybody's opinions or like own way that they answer these different questions, right? Because I think that what makes the Ball family, the Big Baller brand, such dynamic and so interesting is because there's so many different ways that you could have been introduced to it, and there's so many different opportunities for you to be hooked or somehow be passionate about whatever they have going. So when you're talking to Ticket TV, and obviously somebody who is following it, right? Not from the angle of like, yo, I'm supporting it, but from the angle of, man, I'm keeping track of everything that's happening kind of on the negative, right? There's something there for you. If you are interested in the conflict, right? And you are on that platform, you realize that that platform is conflict heavy. So the things that they might harp on and stick with is the things where it's like, oh, you said that about Steph Curry. Oh, you did this. It's the controversial things because that's what the platform is kind of built on over there, right? When we're doing with Lamont over at FYF Sports Debate, it was more like kind of more in line with just kind of some of the narratives and things that we all talk about with the positive things that are happening. What makes the situation so unique? Like, what are the intricacies of it? You know, that if you are somebody who is likes the talent that the boys have, you'd find that interesting, right? If you are somebody who is interested in the branding dynamic of it and what that means from a business lane and a cultural standpoint, there's something to find interesting, right? And I think that what I realized where I differ from most people who are like interested and follow along with the narrative of the Big Baller brand, LeVar, Melo, Jello, Zoe, the whole thing is that, and I've said this before, where my interest comes in at, and I think that this is what I don't want to say it makes it hard for me to debate in those settings, but like I think that it makes it hard for people to understand where I'm coming from because I'm looking at it from not necessarily how these things affect those guys, the brand, how they affect LeVar, but how they affect the general public, right? So it's just like those are the people kicking in the door. They the test subjects. They are the what is that called? I can't remember the word, but the folks who are kind of laying the blueprint, the case study. That's what I'm looking. That's what they are, right? And so it's interesting, and I'm with it. It's just that I realized that when LeVar Ball and Lonzo Ball go to the league and they start their brand, what they're doing is exposing a whole new generation to a different ideal. So when folks grew up and they'd seen the Michael Jordan commercials and they seen like the whole idea of having a signature shoe and how dope that was, and being in Space Jam and all of that stuff. That's what we seen. Michael Jordan exposed us to that amazingly, and everybody wanted to follow in those footsteps, right? And now what you see with LeVar and those guys is you've been exposed to the ideal of like, yo, what happens if you just start your own thing, right? And that impacts people. And then so to me, I buy into that philosophy. I support that because I think that that is more beneficial at the end of the day, the exposure for the next generation who may try to walk in that footstep, and being able to keep the narrative positive enough that they don't get discouraged, right? So when folks hear, oh, the brand is dead, they ruined it, it's a troll brand, it's this, I believe that it discourages the next generation from wanting to even attempt it, right? It seems too hard. Why Melo didn't even stick with the brand? Like, it just seems too hard. And so for me, that's where my defense comes in, right? Is the reality of I'm trying to bring in the practical sense of it, of like, yo, if somebody said to you tomorrow, you could make enough money to change your family's life, but you may have to be bunk gang, like, folks might consider it. If folks said to you tomorrow, yo, you might be Fat Boy SSE, but you're going to make life-changing money for your family, like, folks might consider that, because a lot of people out here are hard up. So when you are presented with an opportunity where, in order for you to create generational wealth in your family, you have to promote your own brand and your sons, you got to do whatever it takes. You're telling me that I can change the landscape of my family generationally, and all I have to do is tell the world about how dope I think my sons is? I'm going to do it. You mean to tell me that all I got to do is tell the world that I'm doper than Michael Jordan in basketball, regardless of if I am or not? I'm doing it. And to me, that's what makes me stick with it. That's what makes me pump the narrative of this could be a positive thing, right? And so I see that other folks don't necessarily look at it that way. It is more personal. It is more like yo, they really could hoop. They really did this and this. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And to me, that's where I look at it. What's up, King C, man? I appreciate you for coming through. Hey, y'all, man, make sure you hit that like button. Flourish King, shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? Alan Humphrey, shout out to you as well. And so, let me get back to this. So for me, I remember a time in my life, and there's two quick stories that I want to share, is that when I graduated college and got my degree, everything, I thought, yo, I got the degree, I got the paperwork, I'm finna go out here and make this bread, right? I play sports, so I had a little bit of student loans, but I'm thinking like, yo, I'm gonna be full-time here in the next couple months, and I'm gonna damn near be able to pay back these student loans in the next maybe 2-3 years. That's how much bread I'm gonna be making. About 6-7 months outside of graduating with a whole degree, I was working security at a grocery store. I was bouncing at a bar, and I'm thinking, yo, I got a whole degree in communications. There's no way I can't get a job. And I could not get a job. So when I think about a situation in which all you got to do to get national attention, to raise the awareness of your brand, your sons, your family, is to say some cool fly shit, I'm going to say the cool fly shit. What's up, Hoop Jargon? Hoop Jargon, man, damn near got my video demonetized the other day on Halloween night, talking all reckless. Now I'm playing. Hey, man, make sure I hit that like button. So that scenario right there is partly why I'm saying that I support the brand. I rock with it because I don't want folks who have an opportunity to change their generational landscape of their family to not do it, because folks is like, but the LeVar messed it up for everybody. No, he didn't, bro. This is one of the things, and this is not my second story, but this is one of the things that I always try to give the Newman family praise for, right? Is because when you look at Julian Newman, he's 5'3", damn near, but somehow they have created a brand in which they can actually sell things, have a product, have an opportunity to change the landscape of their family's generational like wealth type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like business owners, entrepreneurship. These are things that, and why it is personal to me is like when I was growing up, all we talked about was, bro, you go play sports, you go get that job. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you get a shoe deal, maybe you get a woo woo woo. Nobody ever talked about it from the ideal of maybe starting your own brand. Nobody ever talked about it from the ideal of leveraging your own likeness. And so when I see guys like Julian Newman, who folks swear is not talented, have a persona and be known for playing basketball, to me, I have to champion that, because I'm like, yo, if he can do it, if Jamie Newman can start his own school to put his son and daughter on a platform, then why can't anybody else? I cannot be mad at a man for saying some shit about Steph Curry when I'm looking at the generational impact that he could potentially be having on the youth. So when I say on the youth, part of where I get that from, and I've told this story before a ton of times as well, is how I initially came to even start making content around the Big Baller brand and all of that stuff, Lonzo Melo, the whole thing, was not because I was like super impressed with what they were doing on the court or any of that stuff. It was more so along the lines of I seen the success that they were having, right? And it was baffling me how people talked about them as if they were not being successful, as if LaMelo Ball getting the Lamborghini at 16 is just ruined his life, as if when LaMelo was pulling out of high school, as if LeVar and the things that he's saying is ruining their kid's life. Hold on, man. I'm gonna send you the link, Hoop Jargon. So I'm gonna send it to you over there on the Instagram. So when I seen that, bro, that is what really got me interested, right? I was listening to these videos and where I would hear people be like, I'm mad at the kids. I want the kids to fail because I don't like their daddy. And I would hear grown ass men at the time saying that, and to me that just rubbed me the wrong way, because I don't care what their dad is saying that you may think is negative. And I keep bringing up the Steph Curry thing because the other day on the Ticket TV live stream, they brought that up 100,000 times because folks saying that he was disparaging a legend to raise his kids up. And then for me, I just can't imagine a world in which Steph Curry, who is probably slated to make over $500 million playing basketball, is concerned about something that a college kid's parents said in the stands. Because that happened when Zoe was at UCLA when that whole thing came about. And folks act like it was today. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I keep using that as an example. Let me send this over to Hoop Jargon. So that's why I keep bringing that up. So the thing is that when I would hear people say, yo, you're ruining your kid's life, they're in trouble. This is around the time where I had just finished working at a youth shelter, right? And there's an emergency youth shelter, 21 days, where kids would come into this youth shelter from DCS, from foster care, from their parents kicking them out, all of these things. And I remember sitting down with these kids who felt hopeless at the time. And I would be telling them, yo, life is not over at this moment. Like, you still have a chance to bounce back. Like, yes, you got a record. You on probation or whatever as a youngin'. And then what's up, Andrew? Navi, everybody, Julian Wills, what's happening? What's happening? So we was on Ticket TV over the weekend, had a little debate, and then so we kind of talking about that now. So what I was doing is I was working with these kids and I was attempting to tell them that, like, despite what was going on in their life at the moment, it was not enough to derail it from being like having the opportunity to kind of bounce back, right? The fact that you was working at Taco Bell and you got fired does not mean that you doomed for forever. You feel me? So let me see. So when I heard folks saying that LaMelo's life was over because he dropped out of high school, meanwhile his brother is going to the NBA, meanwhile he has an opportunity to play professional basketball, meanwhile he's driving in a Lamborghini, meanwhile is living in a big old mansion out in Chino Hills, it just bothered me when I was thinking about what do the kids who I was working with think when they hear that. If his life is done, then what does that say to the kid who was in the shelter, who has got a DCS investigation happening, who just got fired or just got violated by probation, all of these things. So that is so that's the shit that made me is that vid posted because I'm late as hell? Yeah, man. It's on his channel. It's one that's, I think it's titled like something about LaMelo Ball. Woo, woo, woo. And then I think he was on live for like 5 hours. So you had to find the portion where we was all out there and all of that stuff. So that is what made me kind of get interested in creating content and pushing a more of a positive narrative about this, because I realized the global, the bigger picture impact that this situation could have on tomorrow, have on the youth of tomorrow, have on the entrepreneurs, the athletes, the folks who want to be an athlete, but it don't work out for them like that. Like, how do they end up taking this, right? Because a lot of this stuff is about representation and about experience. And so when you see a guy like LeVar Ball be torn down at every turn, and you don't see them champion all of the great things, then you start to feel like it don't really matter. Does it matter if you have 3 boys who are going to college and you are an active participant in making that happen? Does it matter if you're somebody who is pouring into the neighborhood that you live in, into the community that you live in? Does it matter when you're somebody who is trying to build generational wealth for your family, when the only thing that people care about is some like random thing that you said 2-3 years ago? When people start talking about you like you are the worst person in the world because you said that you could beat Michael Jordan one-on-one, like that to me is what gets me into it. So and this is what I'm saying all of this to say, is that so when we did those debates, I realized that is the perspective in which I approach the whole situation and the conversation in the debates. It's not necessarily, I could care less about whether or not, you know what I'm saying, how people feel about if Lonzo is going to kind of shake off that bubble slump that he was in and then get to the next level, right? At the end of the day, sports, the beauty of it is you and me have different opinions and we could actually debate about that. And the truth of the matter is neither one of us knows if we're right until it happens. People debate the Jordan, LeBron James, GOAT topic all of the time. And the reality is LeBron James probably still got 4 years left of a career to add to his resume. And if he's in a place right now where you're having that debate so early, then that speaks to how high you actually view him. But if I say LeBron is better than Kobe, LeBron is better than Jordan, who knows? We never got to see LeBron versus Kobe in the finals. We never got to see Kobe versus Jordan in the finals. We never got to see. So it's just like all of that shit is just hypothetical at the end of the day. So when we have a hypothetical debate about sports, like I'm into it, I'm with it, but like that shit don't move me as much as the generational impact that some of these things have on the culture. That's why I hop on here and I make content the way that I do. It's not because I really want y'all to believe that LaMelo Ball is a great basketball player. It's because I want you to believe that there's no reason why you can't be some fraction of LaMelo Ball in your own way. Hoop jargon in the building. What's happening, my guy?